Good morning. I am so glad that you got to join me again for Children's Church at Temple First Church of the Nazarene. I miss you. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're keeping safe. I hope you're washing your hands. I hope you're obeying your mother and your dad and doing all your schoolwork. Well, today our lesson is called All for One, One for All. And it is about how we're building a community in church. And when we know that the disciples, their emotions are going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. All right? They were sad because they lost their leader, their best friend. He was crucified. Then they were happy because he rose again and they had spent time with him for 40 more days. And then they were sad again because he ascended. He went back to God to be with his Father. And Jesus said, before you go, though, before you go out and preach more about me, wait until the day of Pentecost. We know the day of Pentecost, he said, all the Jews will be coming together. And that means all of them from Egypt, Libya, Rome, Crete, Judea, the Arabian Peninsula, among all others. And they all spoke different languages. And Jesus said, and I will send the Holy Spirit. And we know the Holy Spirit came like the tongue of fire, the wind, and the tongue of the fire and wind came in. And what this represents is that the Holy Spirit is the tongue and the fire. It gave each one of these disciples a way to speak to all of those people that didn't have their language. And so each one could talk to different ones so they could communicate better. And we know that since the Holy Spirit did that they, over 3,000 men, came to know Jesus. What a wonderful thing it was. And that's why Jesus told them to wait. But we know that it is important for this. Because out of this, we became a church. And the disciples taught them how to be a church and be a community. A community is where we come together to worship, right? A community is where you come together so you can rely on people. And that's what the church is. The church is where we eat together. We always have potluck dinners, or we have things after church, right? We pray together, we sing together, we worship together. We rely on the other people to help us pray. And that's what Jesus was telling the disciples. And that's why he said, let's wait until the day of Pentecost so we can get more believers and so we can go out and preach more. And they did. And they taught them how to become a church and how to become a community. And we sing. These believers were singing and praying. They were reading scriptures. And they also did communion. On Easter Sunday, we will be having communion because communion is very important. But that is why Jesus died on the cross. He died on the cross for you and for me, didn't he? He died to shed his blood so to forgive our sins. And we remember the communion is very important because that is his blood and why he died. And so we need to rely on our community of church in this particular time of need. We are going through very weird times right now. And sometimes we ask, what is happening? What is happening? Well, we got to remember to be strong in faith and in our community. And when we have a need, we need to tell our mama or daddy and say, Mom, can you text or email Miss Lori, Miss Cheryl, or Pastor Darren, and just let them know to pray for each one of us. Because if we don't do that, then our community will fall. And we want to keep sure that our church community is strong. Just because we can't reach out and touch you doesn't mean that we don't love you and we don't care for you. So remember that to pray for each one of us. Pray for all of us. Pray for the Montalvo family. Pray for the Miss Cheryl's family. Pray for your family. Pray for your friends. Pray for all of the people that the sickness has been touched and that we will heal and we will come back together. Thanks, and thanks for listening today. I can't wait to see you next week. Bye.